Hi everyone, and welcome to our episode of Meeting the CEOs of October. In this series, we will introduce you the CEOs of all October countries. My name is Tina Radau. I'm the marketing manager of October France. And the last time Anna interviewed Grégoire de Lestapis, the CEO of October Spain. Now it is the turn of Luuc Mannaerts, the CEO of October Netherlands. So hi, Luuc.
Hello. Hi, Tina. How are you?
I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, I'm fine too. Thank you.
All right, so let's start with the first question. So Luuc, tell us something about your background. What did you study and what work experience do you have?
I studied in Rotterdam business economics with a specialization in finance and strategy. And when I was around 40, I went to INSEAD, where I did an advanced management program. And I can advise everybody, it's great, halfway your work life to have a boost. It's energizing and it gets you sharp again.
And where did it lead you, this study experience? What work experience do you have?
Yeah, I worked in banking around 22 years, initially in mergers and acquisitions, working with very large companies, most of them listed or private equity owned. And thereafter, I moved to the commercial banking side, working with large companies, turnover of 50 million up to 500 million. And in my last role, I was CEO of ABN AMRO Commercial Finance, working a lot with SMEs. And in this last role, I also worked a lot with data. And we created an environment where we would use the data to very objectively assess whether we could finance a company. And the beauty of data is that it's not only objective, but you can also really well explain it to a client, how you use it and why you finance a company or not sometimes. And that actually brought me to October.
Oh, right. So you started October in Netherlands in April 2018. Can you explain a bit more about your country's financing landscape 10 years ago? And what are now the challenges and opportunities that you meet?
Okay, yeah, I can. And if it's okay, Tina, what I'll do is I'll first give you a big picture, and then I'd like to give you the picture from the company's perspective, an SME company.
All right. Okay.
The big picture is that we have 3 large banks in the Netherlands already for 25 years. And they have around 80 to 90% of the market. And that actually was impacted quite big by the 9/11, because 9/11 made that banks had to also safeguard us from terrorist organizations, and sparking a huge task for them to, we call it KYC and compliance. And that's still continuing. But what it also did, and let me take the perspective of a small company, it also made that if you are a small company where you used to be able to actually call somebody at the bank and the phone would be picked up, banks have reorganized and it's much more difficult for an SME company to actually speak to a banker. And so it made the distance between SME companies and the bank much bigger. And sometimes, a bank can be a black box for an SME client. And that can be very, very upsetting because, financing for a company is, it's like, the most important raw material, I call it, to actually run your business. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that is, that's the environment we're in. What I think what's also interesting to know is that in the Netherlands, we have quite a digital mindset. So when I started October in 2018, SME companies are quite used to actually coming online digitally. What they really like about us is that you can approach us digitally, but we do give you a call. So, we do actually combine the tech with the human touch. Well, it's interesting to know that in the Netherlands, we already have 2 unicorns in the payment service environment. One is very well known, Adyen, and the other one is Molly. And I'm sure we will soon have another unicorn in the lending.
I hope so.
Me too.
I hope so. So, how does this challenge differ from the other October countries that you had to compare?
Well, maybe I can start with actually sharing something that we have in common,
All
and
right.
that is building a reputation. So if you are an SME company over the last 25 years, if you would need financing, companies would turn around and go to their bank. Now, and as I explained, over the last 10 years, that has become more difficult, also for very well understood reasons. But it also means that if they hear the name October, the question is who is October? So finding that spot in the market is something I think we share. If I then actually go to the difference, as I said, we only have 3 banks, and we've now had 2 crises. One financial crisis, something more than 10 years ago, and the COVID crisis, where we're still in. And I think that Dutch entrepreneurs truly realize that they need their bank, but they also need someone else, a non-bank financier, next to their bank. And that's a thought which is more and more accepted. And I think where we difference from some of the European countries is that the Dutch government is actively promoting this point of view. And if you know that 80 to 90% of the market still is with banks, this is also in the interest of the Dutch economy, to have a more diverse landscape. And that is what the government is promoting.
And how the government is promoting
How they promote that?
banks?
If I give you a very concrete example, we were approached whether we would also want to make use of the government guarantees during the COVID crisis. So the government actually realized there are going to be so many companies in need of financing that they actually opened this guarantee scheme up fairly quickly to non-bankers, non-bank financiers. And so we were the first non-bank to actually get the license to also provide that government guarantee, and we're very actively using that.
All right. So, any other differences in Netherlands?
Yes, I think there's one very big difference compared to Southern Europe specifically, and that is that in the Netherlands we have limited access to financial statements in a digital form. And as you know, in October, if a client actually types in its commercial chamber of commerce number, we retrieve all the data automatically from a public register, and we don't have that register in the Netherlands. So that's a big difference, where we are lacking Southern Europe, unfortunately. And I think that accountants can play a very important role here, because they do have those reports in a structured manner, and we're working hard, to actually get access to that. It's called SBR Nexus, Standard Business Reporting, and if we can get that going with 1 or 2 big accounting companies, that would be really, really a game changer in the Netherlands. But it takes time.
Yeah. Okay, so what is now your target goal, or your goal in your country?
I'll focus on this year, and then let's focus on this year. We've got 3 objectives for this year: to double the number of clients we help. We are a scale up, so we do have some ambitious targets to fill in. The second is to simplify our products even more, and to make sure that clients and also financial advisors can easily request a loan on the one end, but also that we can very quickly give them an answer. And if we give them the answer, yes, we think we can finance you, that we actually also do that in 90% of the cases. So predictability is something else to actually focus on.
Okay.
And thirdly, not surprising, is to develop our reputation. And best would be to do that through a partnership, with a bank or an accounting organization, or both. I mean, that would really, again, be a game changer.
And do you have some partnership in the pipe from now?
We're working very hard on that, Tina, but I cannot
Okay.
say anything about that. But
We will not disclose anything.
in half of the year, I have some good news.
Okay, yeah, so. Next question is, what do you think is typical about October?
We're super focused on the client. If I compare my time over the last 3 years with October to the years before, everybody is focused on helping the client and helping the client as soon and as good as possible. That's true for our sales team, it's true for our credit, for our tech, for our product, everybody.
And for the marketing team too.
And for the marketing team too, yes.
Okay, so at October we have some well-known values. Which October value do you identify most with?
I'll steal the idea of Grégoire, the CEO of our CEO of Spain, and actually mention one professionally and one personally. Professionally, I think customer experience first is something that really stands out. As I said, everybody, including the marketing team, has the client in front, of their mind. And personally, I'm very connected to let the sunshine in. Being transparent in everything we do is really, really a challenge. It forces me to be honest, first towards myself, but also to my colleagues, our employees, our clients, our investors, regulators, and yeah, I mean it's challenging, but it's really a great way to work.
Okay, good answers. As you know, we have like a lot of borrower stories at October. Which one is the most memorable project for you?
Oh, that's a really difficult question because we have so many good projects, Tina.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to actually mention three, if okay with you.
It's okay.
When we just started, we were open for say 1 month or so. A client came to us called Adaptive Services, and that was the week before Christmas.
Mhm.
And he had to actually take over the company before the year end. And we managed to raise the funding during Christmas. So
Really?
whilst it was Christmas, yes, before we actually went in the Christmas weekend, we put the project online, and on the Tuesday afterwards, it was funded, which was the 28th, of course, and then he had the money in time. So that was really
Happy Christmas.
a happy Christmas, but also for me an eye opener of the power of the crowd and the strength of the platform, which is really beautiful. Another very memorable project is a client called the Magic Table. And I don't know whether you know that word, but Brigitte Macron is a sponsor of that company.
Oh, really?
Yes, we discovered that after we financed it. The Magic Table is a digital table, and it helps people with dementia to play games. And by playing the games, and that's all digital on the table, by playing the games, their minds are being triggered and they remain in better shape. And it also helps the caretakers because the people with dementia are actually busy playing a game rather than wandering around, etc.
So it's a Netherlands company and also in France. They're present in France.
Dutch company, but they
Oh,
they export their tables to France, to Germany, actually to Europe. And what we financed was their expansion into the States. So
okay.
Beautiful. It's a beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one is Cloudwise, which is a software business that is expanding internationally as well. All the schoolers in the Netherlands, primary school, secondary school, they know the software, and it's actually beautiful to see how that software is changing, the life of students and the communication with teachers, making them much more aware of how they are doing, and helping them actually learn and teach, and helping them to be independent through their time, through their school time. So
Okay. That was during the COVID-19 or?
Yes, they grew very much during
Mm.
COVID-19. And I think it's a beautiful way also to show, and that's also true for the Magic Table, is how digitization can actually help our society and improve life of many, many people.
Yeah.
And I think that that's also something we try to achieve towards that.
Yeah, it helps us to keep the social link that we had lost during the COVID-19, of course. Okay, so that's the end of the interview. Thank you a lot, Luuc, for your time.
No, you're welcome.